So today I have another combo deck that I've never seen before. It works amazing when it's pulled off, but can win just as well without it too. Get ready for some more huge attacks out of nowhere. Hey everyone, Hex here, and today I'm super excited to share my new Naya combo deck, which once again can create enormous attacks, this time using an enchantment that is rarely seen. But before we get going, and as always, I want to thank you all for your support for the channel. And if you haven't yet, I'd really appreciate it if you can go ahead and hit that subscribe button below to not miss out on future content, and you'll be massively supporting the channel in the meantime too. But onto this deck, and once again I had an absolute blast with this brew. I guess there's a couple of combos here, but I'll start with one of my most favourite ones I've ever made. It's using Temporary Lockdown, Soul Partition and Devilish Valet. So Temporary Lockdown is a card I've tried using many times, but always felt it was a sideboard card at best. It's essentially a 3-mana enchantment that exiles all non-land permanents with mana value 2 or less from the battlefield until it leaves the battlefield itself. So it can deal with treasures, creatures and all those pesky tokens you face. Now I'm mainly playing it to exile my own creatures, preferably at least 4 or 5 of them, because we're also running Devilish Valet. It's a 1/3 devil with trample and haste that has its power doubled each time a creature ETBs on your side of the battlefield until end of turn. If you haven't guessed it by now, we're going to lock down our board before the opponents deal with all our creatures, attack with a devil, and before damage, destroy our enchantment. My enchantment removal of choice is also my permanent removal of choice. It's Soul Partition. So this, for just 2 mana, you get to exile any non-land permanent from the board, and that permanent's owner may cast it again from exile. However, opponents must play 2 more to do so. The card is just great in this scenario. It also means you can temporarily lock down the following turn as well if you need to. Hopefully this is enough to win us the game, but we do have another small trick up our sleeve in Kayla's Reconstruction. For X and 3 white, you get to look at the top 7 cards of your library and put up to X artifact or creature cards with mana value less than 3 onto the battlefield. So ideally we'll be looking for a valet and as many other creatures as possible. If anyone can let me know the statistically perfect value to pay for X in a deck with 23 creatures, I'd love to know, and if you could put that in the comments, I'll really appreciate that. So the rest of the deck are all creatures with mana value 2 or less. We have Cathar Commandos, which are great as they can sacrifice to destroy an enchantment if needed, Gala Greeters for the pure value, and this deck creates a lot of treasure to enable large reconstructions. Hopeful Initiates as our 1-drops that can also be used to destroy our enchantment, Spirited Companions for card draw, and most importantly Resolute Reinforcements, which create 2 creatures on ETB. Our other interaction are Destroy Evils to deal with larger threats and again destroy enchantments, preferably our own lockdown. We only have 22 lands here, but we do make an absurd amount of treasure, so don't worry about that. And that's the deck. I must say, I think this combo deck is just great, and I thoroughly enjoy playing it today on Arena, so sit back, enjoy, and let me know what changes you would make here. So, on the draw here, our hand looks really nice. A couple of early creatures, and we do have the Valet, which is a good one to have. We even get to drop our 1-drop, so opponent looks like they are on some kind of Selesnya, maybe enchantments, but we get to follow up our initiate with our companion. And we did draw our lockdown, so our combo is in our hand here. Disenchant on our dog, that's fine by me. We got some value by drawing a card. Shame it didn't survive, but we'll take that. So when we do cast our temporary lockdown, we want to try and get at least 5 creatures if possible, or 4 and a Resolute Reinforcements. That should be just enough to get our Devilish Valet to 32 power. We will play our Spirited Companion here, opponent with a mirror box, so a Legends deck. Soul Partition is great as we get to exile our opponent's permanents as just as much as our own opponent, our own permanent. So opponent with Seraph as a 4/5. Well, I think we're just going to destroy that straight away and get a little bit more damage through. So if we can get the opponent down to 16, then we only need to get the Valet. We only need to exile 4 of our creatures to get the Valet up to 16 power. So it's always something to be wary of. We find a Jetmir's Garden. Okay, well, we'll just play a land. Opponent gains a life with their creature every time a non-basic enters the battlefield. I think we'll just pass the turn and hold open Jetmir's Garden. Hopefully we can find a Resolute Reinforcements or a Cathar Commando to flash in. See what we draw. And hope for initiate. Alright, it's not the worst thing in the world. And there's another lockdown. Okay, I don't think there's any need for us to lock down right away. We're going to try and build ourselves up and build our creatures up here. Opponent did play Mirror Box, so I'm guessing a Joda deck or some kind of Legends deck, but we'll see what they want to play. They just passed their turn as we find another land. Okay, so we just got 22 lands in the deck, so it's not too many, but we do gain a lot of treasure with the Gala Greeters if we do manage to get that onto the battlefield, but opponent's not doing much themselves. Soul Partition's great, as also it can exile our own creatures in response to maybe the opponent destroying one of ours, and then we get to play it again from exile. So if we exile a Resolute Reinforcements, we get the triggers again if we want to cast it the same turn. Opponent with an Evolving Wilds, so see what they find. Okay, it's a swamp, so they've got all the colours. So a domain deck. I'm still not sure exactly what they're doing, but we're just going to cycle this garden. We don't need any more land. Okay, and there's our reinforcements. So we actually have our combo in our hand for next turn. So I'm going to play the Valet now because we actually have lethal next turn. One of the good things with the Valet is it has a mana value of 3, so the temporary lockdown doesn't actually target it. As opponent plays Joda, yeah, we've definitely got a lethal next turn. So I'm glad it was just a Joda. Even if they block with Joda, we've got a lethal attack here. So we can play our Resolute Reinforcements now. That will trigger the Valet to double it twice. Then if we lock down the board, this won't take out the Valet. This will take out our remaining creatures. And then we just go to attacks. And yeah, we can just Soul Partition our temporary lockdown. So even though opponent blocks, I think this is way too much damage for them. We'll see what happens. Loads of triggers happen now. Drawing a card, and yeah, that's 128 power, and opponent takes what goes down to minus 102. All right, on the draw here. Yeah, hand looks fine. Some early creatures, and we have our Kayla's Reconstruction and our temporary lockdown as well. As opponent has the Dockside Chef, which is perfect as that can be locked down. It only costs 1 mana. So against these black and white decks, there is a lot of targets on our opponent's side as well. So if we do play the lockdown and try and kill it, we want to try and make sure we win that turn. Otherwise, we do run the risk of the opponent drawing loads of cards and getting value from their ETBs as well. And yeah, they're going to attack us. Well, we're not going to block. The value in our cards are to be on the battlefield. Chain Flail Centipede. Okay. Not a card you see every day. But we'll play the tap land here. Get this one out of the way. And then we can flash in our Commando. Not that we're going to use it to block. But if the opponent plays any enchantments, just the threat of having a Commando on the battlefield is sometimes good enough to change the way that they play the game. So they go to attacks, and the Centipede gives the dog +2/+0 into end of turn, which is nice. Once we get the Gala Greeters onto the battlefield, we gain so much life, so not too concerned going down to 13 this early on. Just don't want our dog to die here. But yeah, we'll flash in our Cathar Commando, and if this survives, just having a creature that for 1 mana can destroy this Spirited Companion should be enough to change the way our opponents play the game, especially if they've got enchantments in their hand. We did find our Gala Greeters, and I'll definitely want to drop that right now. And as soon as we're not going to block with these creatures, we may as well attack our opponent. Drop them to 16. Like I said before, 16 is just the Devilish Valet and 4 of its triggers, so it's a good amount for the opponents to be on. Life of Toshiro. Okay, so that's going to give a target creature -1/-1 to end of turn. A little bit annoying there. It's also going to kill our Spirited Companion next turn as well, so yeah, just this small enchantment is going to be kind of irritating towards us. So I think we're going to kill it. I think we're going to destroy this enchantment. I think if we lose the Spirited Companion, it's going to be difficult for us to combo this particular game. So we'll use our Destroy Evil to destroy their enchantment. We're nowhere near comboing, so we're nowhere near winning, so I'm fine with that. So we find 8 planes. Well, I'm going to play the Kayla's Reconstruction here for just 2 mana. Yeah, not 3. For just 2 mana. See what we find. And we find a Reinforcements and a Devilish Valet. So as you can see here, there is also a Black Market Tycoon. This is one of the games where I was experimenting with that card. But I ended up ditching it because we were making so much mana or so much treasure with the Gala Greeters that I ended up almost killing myself every time. So I felt like it was unnecessary. But yeah, dropped the opponent down to 8 already. They probably have to kill this Valet. Not that they're under any sort of urgent threat of dying, but we've got loads of cards in our deck that can kill this lockdown. So we are actually only a top deck away from winning here if we can find a Destroy Evil or I guess even another Commando would work. So the token here can always block. We don't actually ever need the token. The token's nice. Okay, there's our Soul Partition, great. All right, so we get to lock down the board here. And yeah, go to attacks. And before damage, just cast our Soul Partition. I'm not sure if the opponent knows what's going on. Okay, well they don't block, so I doubt that they know what is going on, but we can exile our enchantment and yeah, trigger our Valet. And even if we didn't win that turn, we've got loads of value from our creatures again. Alright, on the draw, and I mean our hand looks pretty nice. We do have 2 of the Valets, so yeah, we'll definitely keep this. Fingers crossed we get to drop them onto the battlefield and they survive. But yeah, this hand looks pretty nice. Okay, opponent with a tapped blue and white mana. So we did draw the Initiate there. It's a shame we couldn't cast that on turn 1, but we'll drop our Jetmir's Garden, and I guess drawing another Jetmir is fine as our Initiate resolves. But there is some stick on our opponent's side. Okay, and they pass the turn. And they don't do anything. Alright, so you got to expect some kind of control-y game going on here. We'll attack with our Initiate and play the Companion. Okay, and that resolves 2. I was half expecting them to flash out a Resolute Reinforcements just then. Okay, and they've missed the land drops. Okay, well that's unlucky because we can just do what we did last turn. Attack the opponent and then drop our dog. Draw another card. And we draw our Temporary Lockdown, okay. So we have our combo assembled in our hand, just need to get it on the battlefield. Opponent finds their 3rd mana. See what they're up to then. To Cassia's Welcome. Alright, so they're going to start drawing cards when they play creatures. So you got to expect them to want to play a creature over the next few turns to sort of get value from that. Just going to pass the turn. So probably should have just flashed out the Cathar Commando now. I was going to do it on the opponent's turn. But we'll just ditch this Reconstruction. I think with the Cathar Commando as well, just always leaving 1 mana open is quite a large threat to destroy this enchantment that their opponent's probably got their deck built around. So I have noticed that happen a few times when I've been playing. Players definitely play different when the Commando is on the battlefield, or the green one that does the same as well. So Inspiring Overseer, 3 mana creature. Always got to be wary of the mana value of the creatures to see what Temporary Lockdown is going to do. But yeah, we'll play the Cathar Commando, and I definitely don't want to destroy their enchantment. I don't see the necessity right now. So our mana is a little bit annoying in that we can't play the Valet and hold open anything else. And if we were to Temporary Lockdown now, we are hoping to draw a land next turn, but Opponent does have 4 open mana, so I felt the need to want to do that now, just in case they board wiped. They drop their planes. And it's Celestial Regulator, okay. So I'm kind of happy actually that we played the lockdown there, because the Regulator would have been a little bit annoying for us. We do find our mana though, so whatever happens, I'm going to want to destroy the enchantment here just to get some value from these dogs. But we can't quite win. We only have 4 creatures, but I think we'll go for it anyway. So we'll cast the Valet, see if the opponent wants to counter. Don't mind so much if they do, we have another one in our hand. And we will attack with the Valet, we'll see what they do before we decide what we're going to do with our lockdown. They clearly see what's going on here. They are hovering over our enchantment. But it resolves. And yeah, we'll go to attacks. We'll see what they want to do. I wish we had a Resolute Reinforcements underneath this lockdown. But we couldn't leave it any longer. The opponent would have just board wiped or done some kind of exile effects on our creatures. Although they may just be playing flyers. Planar Incision, alright, so they're going to flicker their Celestial Regulator here. Fair enough. Okay, so they tap our creature. So our creature is still attacking though. So if they block, I'm not going to touch the lockdown. I don't think there's enough damage. If they don't block, I would have destroyed the lockdown there. So I'm going to just destroy their creature right now, and we're going to just pass our turn and see if we can do it all again next turn. I don't think we had lethal there. It all depended if the opponent blocked. Yeah, so we can do 16 damage by destroying our lockdown. Let me know if there's any other creatures you feel would be beneficial in this deck. I feel like I've got the ones that I needed in here. Kind of mono white, splashing green and red. But opponent with a Serra Paragon. Fair enough. So I'm not really sure what they're up to, but they are all flyers, it looks like. So they attack us, okay. We find a Gala Greeters. Okay, so that would have been nice earlier. But yeah, we'll just do the same as what we did before. We'll play our Valet. And even if they kill this one, our other one's going to be around for next turn. And we'll go to attacks. And we will see what they're doing. I think I'm just going to destroy this lockdown anyway. I don't really want to lose my Valet. And the Serra Paragon's going to be an annoying card, so I do want to kill that. And yeah, we're just going to exile our enchantment here. I don't really want to wait any longer. Okay, so they knew we were going to do this, so this is a non-lethal attack. I think they'll go down to 2. And then next turn, hopefully with Gala Greeters or Kayla's Reconstruction, we can see out the victory with the 2 Valets. They blink their Incision. Okay, which means they're going to take lethal here, because it's now although it's blocked, it's got trample, so yeah, they go down to -2. That was a mistake. They should have not done that. Alright, on the draw. Pretty nice hand. Really nice hand. No creatures though, so we're going to have to do something about that. Obviously except for the Valet, but we need something else. Alright, Kayla's Reconstruction. I wonder if we can ramp up to the Reconstruction and use that to help us win. We will play our tap land and say go. Opponent on a Jetmir deck. Okay, make that Sultai. So we'll just, just play our lands and pass the turn. We're in no rush. They made the first move with a Spotter Thopter. So when it enters the battlefield, they get to scry X, where X is its power. Okay, it's a prototype creature as well to be aware of, but we'll just have a little tempo swing here and we'll play our Soul Partition. They can play that again later if they want to. And nothing else to do, so we may as well just play one of our Valets. I guess this has opened up our deck plans to our opponent as they have a cut down. Okay, that is fine as we do have another Valet. Okay, Stone Retrieval Unit, 2/3 that creates a Power Stone. Well, I think we'll just try and go for the win and hope that they don't have any removal. I think we're going to play the Initiate now. Next turn, we're just going to play the Reconstruction for as much as possible and attack with the team. So I'm really hoping that they don't have removal. Okay, it's just Khan. They tap manually to hold open the 2 blue mana. And they attack with their 2/3. Well, no blocks there. Okay, we find another mana. All right, we're just going to go for this, I think. So we can do our Reconstruction for 3. If they counter, they counter, but this is where we're at. And yeah, I mean, wow. Couple of Valets and the Resolute Reinforcements. Yeah, that's pretty nice. So many triggers. No idea if this is enough lethal. Yeah, about 33 damage here. 34 damage. And opponent takes a lot of damage out of nowhere. Alright, on the draw. I feel like I've been on the draw a lot today. But it's fine. Hand looks okay. It's not amazing. We do have a few early creatures though, so if we can get these locked down, that would be great. Opponent with a farm hand, so that is going to be another card that lockdown is going to hit. And they do have an ETB from that one, so just be mindful of that. Oh, Gala Greeters is a perfect card. So we'll play that and we can start getting a load of value next turn. One thing you want to do though, if you do start creating treasure and you want to use the temporary lockdown, you definitely want to use the treasure. Otherwise you end up wasting it because it locks it down and you can't then use it again. Opponent with Ginny Fate and they just get in there with a farmhand. That's fine. So if we're up against tokens, I mean, this temporary lockdown is just going to be amazing. But we'll create a treasure. And say go. Fingers crossed our creatures all survive. We do have Soul Partition, which can always be used to rescue our own creature. I did have a game earlier that when I was sort of testing the deck where I was able to attack with the team with a Valet and Resolute Reinforcements, and before damage, Soul Partition our Resolute Reinforcements from the battlefield and then recast it again immediately to get even more value onto the Valet. It's a little trick if you ever come across that. But we get to play some cheap creatures here, and yeah, Gala Greeters is creating a nice little load of treasure for us. I can't see the opponent having a board wipe, as they look like they're a creature heavy deck as well. And we'll just play our tap land now. And no attacks. We're definitely not dying anytime soon. I do feel like the opponent is going to combo themselves with something shortly though. Clay Champion, alright. Must say I wasn't expecting that one to come down. Well, we do have a Destroy Evil, so we can take care of Clay Champion. Oh, but they put all their counters on their team. Well, we're going to kill Ginny Fay. I mean, we could kill the Org. I think they're both as bad as each other for us anyway, but we'll get rid of Ginny Fay for the minute. So that was kind of nice. We do find a Valet. So we do have our combo assembled here. And it all depends on if our opponent is going to kill us next turn. So yeah, we'll tap our treasure, or we'll use our treasure. Gonna lock down our board. Okay, and this is the point where you just know the opponent is wondering what is going on. So I guess we just want them to attack to get these blockers out of the way. And then as long as there's nothing else in the way, or even if there is just a small creature, we should be able to win next turn with our Valet and our Soul Partition. We have 5 creatures underneath our lockdown. So we're in exactly the position we want to be in. Ajani, alright, there's a card I haven't seen for a minute. Okay, but it's fine because I guess it's just a Planeswalker. It would have been worse to see some big creature on the board. And they -3 to give 3+1 counters and vigilance. Oh man. Out of all the cards, for them to play, I don't know if they realise how close they were to dying with the vigilance there. Alright, well, we're just going to play the Valet and we'll go to attacks and we just fingers crossed they don't block. I can't believe they had vigilance there. Oh, they do block with both creatures. Alright, well, we have no other choice here. We're going to have to kill our lockdown. And yeah, we're going to get a load of triggers. So Gala Greeters is going to trigger all 3 modes. And who knows where this is going to get to. So 4 creatures came down, which means the Valet is going to go up to 16 power. And they've got 12 toughness, so they're going to go down to 16. And we're going to lose our Valet. We did draw another Valet. So yeah, that's pretty nice. I don't think we had another choice then. We were going to die. I guess they didn't need to block with both their creatures. But fair enough. We're still in an okay position here. Opponent does have a lot of mana though. I'm not really sure what else we could have done there. I think that was the best we could do. We could have always Soul Partitioned their creatures if we needed to. And it's Catilda. So I do like seeing 1 toughness creatures here. And a Sungold Sentinel, okay. So if we can find another exile effect, our lockdown is in exile ourselves, so we can cast that again next turn if we need to. We can do it all over again. But yeah, the opponent has enough life left. Okay, it's in the trenches, and there's a Spirited Companion, okay. Well, I'm just going to go for it. Play the Valet. Get a counter on the Gala Greeters because we're going to attack with that. And yeah, we'll just play the Reconstruction here for 2 and see what we draw. And we have we have our Resolute Reinforcements and another Valet. So I've no idea if this is enough power to get through. Opponent has a 5 toughness. But we're going to send it all to the face and see if what they can do about this. So they block the Valet and the Companion. Okay, they go down to 1. I think they could have survived on more. Okay, they good game us anyway. Fair enough, managed to get there in the end. So thanks for watching. I can't stress how much fun this deck is. I love using the lockdown the turn before our opponent clearly has a board wipe, and then the threat of all these creatures returning to the battlefield is just sitting there for the rest of the game, tantalizingly 1 removal away. The Reconstruction is a great card too, and I'm looking forward to making more decks around that one. Basically, for just 4 mana, you get to find a card in your top 7 that you may need. But feel free to subscribe for future content, and I'll speak to you again very soon.